I always watch these back, and I'm like, God, I should have put on my suit jacket, look more professional. But it's like after setting up all these lights, man, I'm hot.
Yeah.
I'm hot, and I'm drinking coffee.
It's your podcast. You can wear what you want.
Say it again.
It's true.
It's my podcast, and I can do what I want. Today in the studio, we have a special guest. She is a mother. She's a wife. She is a fitness enthusiast. She is a boxer. What else am I forgetting? I followed your journey through motherhood, through wifedom, and I saw a few posts that you made while you were training and boxing and in the ring, and I was like, I've got to get her story, because from your post it was like, I'm just a immigrant out here trying to make money to feed my kids, and I was like, I don't know no other woman on earth who would step into a boxing ring to feed their kid. The ultimate mama bear in the house.
Yeah.
Joelle Flores.
Thank you.
I'll add a real applause.
Pretty
No,
much sums it up.
pretty much
Work.
sums up who you are.
That's it. Yeah. Working always.
What do you do professionally?
I'm a dental assistant.
And how do you like that?
I like it.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly.
Okay.
I didn't think I was gonna. It
So-
wasn't on my radar. I just fell into it.
Yeah?
And I liked it. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I like the surgeries and all that. Not the cleanings.
Okay.
Cleanings
All
are
right.
boring.
That's a good distinction,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking of
Just cleaning your teeth.
all the dental assistants I've met. They don't seem to really enjoy, and I'm just like, I have a decent mouth. I'm thinking. I mean, I haven't been like really. I haven't seen it from that perspective, except the reflection off of their glasses. But I can just like, are there like some gross mouths that you got to get into? I'm sure.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, of course.
Man,
I've seen some stuff,
and
but
you're doing God's work,
I enjoy it.
helping the world one smile at a time.
Try.
Surgeries though, I didn't know
Yeah.
dental assistants like did more than cleanings.
Oh yeah, we used to. So we're literally right under the doctor. So whatever procedure the doctor does, we have to be there. So we set everything up for him. We have to be 2 steps ahead of him. So when he's in the middle of something, I'm already handing off stuff, doing the next step for him. It's a lot. So like extractions
You see blood?
and all the time.
Really?
Implant surgeries. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what
all
about
the
like
time.
what about like the nasty stuff like cysts and
Oh
abscess
yeah,
and-
when they have to cut them and drain them, take it all out.
Yeah, do you cringe, or is
Nah,
not at all?
no. I'm a mom.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing
You-
can gross me out.
You've been through childbirth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I witnessed all 4 of mine, but I'm still squeamish.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw mine. They put the mirror in front of me, and I watched.
I don't think my wife had that experience for any of them.
No.
No. They were
I
all,
liked it.
They were all actually kind of traumatic. So there wasn't really
Oh.
like, hey, watch what's going on. It was more like, oh my God, she needs more fluid. The baby's suffocating. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that's
She's-
scary.
She's hemorrhaging. Oh my God. It was an event every time.
No, she doesn't want to watch that.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to see like, the placenta. This interview is taking a weird turn. But yeah, just nasty. Smelled up the whole room.
Oh,
Just like the inside of someone's body.
Oh yeah, when
But-
they're like, push one more time, I was like, what? He's right there. Like, you have to take out the placenta. I didn't know.
That's exactly what they said too. That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. And then, some cultures, they actually take that home and fry it up.
Eat it. I've heard they make them into vitamins too.
Mm.
It's supposed to be like really good for you.
It is. The vitamins in there. I mean, I've done 2 litters with my dogs. Once again, a strange turn for this interview. And yeah, she actually eats the placenta from all of them.
Yeah.
And that's just natural. She needs the rehabilitation back in from all of the energy she's expending. Yes, I wonder why humans don't.
Because we're squeamish.
Did you have any interest at all in?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Trying to, yeah?
I'd try it.
You try a vitamin placenta?
Yeah.
What's the weirdest thing that you've eaten?
The weirdest thing I've eaten?
This is developing into a segment. I don't know why I asked all my guests this. Like chocolate-covered crickets or something.
I've had crickets, but that's normal in Mexico.
Rattlesnake.
Fried crickets.
Grasshoppers. Octopus.
Oh yeah, I actually like octopus.
Really?
It's good.
Never had everybody who's had octopus says they like it, but I've never had it.
I like it. I think the worst thing is alligator.
Really? Why is that weird?
It just you never hear people say I had alligator. Would
Not
you
unless
like
you're
alligator
from the bayou
with this?
or the swamp.
Exactly.
How was alligator?
It was actually really good.
Really? I imagine it's tough.
Not. Well, obviously they take off the skin and whatnot.
I'm
but
just
it was
imagining
actually pretty
like
good.
the meat. I feel like alligator meat would be like jerky or something. No,
it wasn't. It's more like on the. I know everyone says tastes like chicken, but it didn't taste like chicken, but the texture somewhat.
Everything tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
It was good.
Turtle?
No, turtles are my favorite animal. I can't.
Really?
Yes.
What is it about the turtle?
I love how majestic they look. When they're swimming, they're just in their own little world, minding their own business.
Interesting. When I look at turtles, I feel like they're like mad at the world. Like, this some bullshit. It's like
Leave me alone.
They go so slow. And then I've seen like the X-ray of a turtle inside of his shell, and like its skeleton is like so small inside and it's like so sad. Like you have all that
I think
shell.
they're beautiful.
They are interesting to look at for sure.
I like that they're in their own little world, just swimming, minding their own business.
This is true. So turtles versus a tortoise isn't like tortoise. Are those the big ones?
Land.
So turtles are in water.
Yeah, so the sea turtles, water. There's some that are the sea turtles more water, tortoise are more land, and then there's some that are like in the middle that they like to bask in the sun, go in the water for a while, bask in the sun. I had one of those as a kid. I think that's why I love them so much. It was like this big, and I named him Slowpoke.
See, their whole existence, even people that love them just make fun of them. They don't even realize. Poor Slowpoke.
Yeah.
So did Slowpoke come from like a pet store? Or did you just find Slowpoke outside?
No, we bought him at a pet store
Really?
in Juarez, in Mexico.
Really?
My grandma got him for me, and he lived for a good while.
Oh, turtles live. They live a long time.
Yeah.
Wow. What did you feed it?
Those little like pellets and lettuce and
No live bugs.
crickets.
Crickets. All right. Slowpoke had the good life.
He did. He was a good turtle.
I saw a documentary and it was talking about I forget what it was talking about, but there was a part in it where they were talking about species that have lasted through extinctions. They were saying like 99% of the species on Earth have already been extinct, and all of these extinction level events like ice ages and floods and stuff, and how they've wiped out all of these species. And they were saying that the only species, I think, to not be affected by these extinction level events were insects, birds, and the crocodiles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It didn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Why?
Insects and birds, I guess, because they can like fly above it, and I guess the birds eat the insects, so that was their food. But the crocodiles, I was like, how the hell does a crocodile live for millions of years, outlive all these other species? Like, what is it eating? And apparently crocodiles can hibernate. Did you know that?
Okay.
They get to like surface level, and the ice encases around them and freezes them, and they leave their noses above the ice so that they can breathe, and they just chill, literally, for however long, and just wait out the storm until the ice thaws, and then they just go back to life.
So it's kind of like those frogs.
Frogs.
That where they freeze, their heart stops.
Yeah.
And then when it defrosts, it starts beating again.
Reptiles.
Yeah.
I need some of that. I'd go to sleep for a few years and just let the storm pass.
That would be nice.
Wake up like, hey, what's going on now? No, put me back in the ice. Oh, boy. All right, that was fun. So, getting back to you, what got you on your fitness journey? Have you always been a fitness enthusiast?
I've always enjoyed being active since a kid.
Like sports?
Oh, yeah. Every sport.
Every sport.
Pretty much. First one I ever did was cheerleading when I was in kinder.
Okay.
My kindergarten teacher ran a cheerleading thing and asked my mom permission for me to join because I like to dance and sing. And then I was at cheerleading practice and I was like, I am not enjoying this. This is not for me.
Really? Even that young?
That young. And I remember there was boys practicing baseball. And I remember I watched them and I was like, that looks fun. So eventually I told my mom I don't want to do cheerleading. And she said, what do you want to do? And I said, that. So she put me in baseball.
On the boys? Was it a co-ed team?
It was all boys.
Really?
First it was co-ed. I did t-ball.
Okay.
And then when I moved on to baseball, I was the only girl.
How did that go?
Good. Yeah, I would slide to the bases. I would make my dad paint my face for the games. It was fun.
What was it like being the only girl on the team?
You know, at that age, you don't really notice
Really?
it.
Boys didn't like tease you?
No.
When you got to bat, they weren't like, get closer to the plate.
No.
No?
No.
Man.
They treated me like one of the guys.
Really?
Pretty much.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for them. Okay, and then after baseball, what'd you do?
After baseball, then I used to work out a lot with my grandfather. So that's kind of what started it from a young age. He was in the military. He was a paratrooper.
Oh.
So growing up with him, he'd wake up early in the morning. Let's do push-ups and let's do this. Let's go running.
PT.
He always made me do something. If I wanted to watch the Idiot Box TV, he would make me do an exercise on commercial breaks. So if you want to watch it, you're going to hold a plank. Or you're going to hold the squat. Yeah, wall sits. Like,
Love it.
That was my grandfather.
I love it.
So
Discipline.
Oh, yeah. And then middle school, I joined volleyball, which was my first love. And then I did basketball for a good while. Then I moved here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How old were you when you did that?
I moved here when I was 16. Yeah.
Here is in
Sophomore.
the U.S.?
No, Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. You
Yeah.
were born in Texas.
Texas.
Okay.
Yep. I was born in Texas, in El Paso, which is on the border.
Okay.
So we would go to Juarez, which is the most dangerous part of Mexico, where the cartel is. We would go there like every weekend and
Just
just go eat, go buy candies, because growing up we were dirt poor, so we'd go buy candies from Juarez, come back over, and then I would take that candy to school and sell them to the kids.
look at you. Hustling early.
Yep. That helped us pay for gas.
Selling illegal imports that you smuggled across the border. Not giving Uncle Sam no cut. That's funny.
Nope.
That makes me think of like, it wasn't but a couple months ago, or maybe it was during COVID or something, where people were going across the border in Canada and Mexico and getting like eggs and stuff because
Yeah.
they couldn't find any here. They were triple the price in U.S. for eggs, and they would go across the border and get these eggs. But then, of course, the news put out like, those Mexican eggs have salmonella, and those Mexican chickens have disease. Like,
Darn Mexican.
it's not U.S. made egg.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah,
How'd you like basketball?
I liked it.
That was the last sport you
fun.
played?
That was the last one, yeah, before I moved here.
Yeah.
Because when I moved here, it's completely different. In Texas, the sports, the school pays for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's free. You just show up. I think there too, especially where I grew up, it's a lot of gangs. Like I said, the cartels right there. So they're trying to keep the kids off the street. So everything was free. After school programs, tutoring, like they cater to those kids to keep them safe. And then you come from a place like that and come to Northern Virginia, is like the opposite end of the spectrum.
Interesting.
It's a little bubble. It's beautiful, but it's a bubble, and you have to pay to do everything. And my mom didn't have that kind of money. She's a single mom. So I just stayed active on my own, would work out in the basement every morning.
Keep the discipline.
Until I found boxing.
When did you find boxing?
When I was 19.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a 3-year hiatus of just working out on your own.
Running, doing whatever.
Being fit. That reminds me, I want to get to the boxing, but I was talking to, I forgot who I was talking to. She was from a different country. I don't remember what country she was from or even who told me the story, but the story was she was involved in all types of things when she was a kid, learning instruments at a very young age, taking all types of languages, being in all types of sports and everything. And then her parents moved to America, the land of the free, home of the brave, and then got here and wasn't nothing free. And so she was like, in my country where we were poor, I was able to do all of these things. And then we get here and I wasn't able to take any more instruments. I wasn't able to play any more sports. And it's like so sad.
Yeah, that's true. That's what it's like. It seems like I had more opportunities and did a lot more in a different sense in Texas than up here.
Interesting.
It was difficult. They don't even announce tryouts up here.
You're right about that.
Keep it within like their little.
You are
clique.
absolutely. If you're not on the email list.
Oh yeah, you don't hear about it. Because I remember asking around because I wanted to try out.
Yeah.
When are tryouts? Oh, they already happened. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, even for my kids, because they're not into sports like I am, so I've got to like call the schools and ask other parents, like, hey, when tryouts are? And oh, they were last month. My kid didn't even tell me. There was no newsletter. I don't know. Email.
It's odd.
Yeah.
At least for us.
It is odd out here. It's interesting how it promotes one image, but then when you get into it, it's like, no, it's not really like that.
Yeah.
So you're 19.
19.
What makes you say, like, when you were in the gym, you saw something? Was it like your baseball experience? There was some guys doing it, and you were like, I gotta try that, or?
That's usually how it works. I see a guy doing it, and then I want to do it. But no, I always wanted to do a combat sport growing up. Watching movies. I love watching fighting movies.
Action hero.
Yes, and I always wanted to try, but again, we were poor, so we couldn't afford, taekwondo or whatever kids usually get put into. And when we moved here, I remember we were eating at IHOP, me and my mother, and they had the flyer, try a free class at LA Boxing. It's free. So I was like, let's go. Let's try it.
You've been waiting for.
Yeah, I was like, let's try it. It would be fun. And I've been itching to do some kind of sport. And she's like, all right. So we went, and I fell in love with it.
How old is your mother?
My mom, let's see, she's going to kill me. She's 50. 50.
So what was it like for you growing up to a teenage mother? But your father was there also.
No, it was rough. So my father wasn't present in my young, toddler years. Then my mother married my sister's father when I was about 4. And he's an amazing man. I love that man. That's my dad. And he was in the picture until I was about 9. And then they split. And it was just me, my sister, and my mom. And it was rough, not only a single mom, but she had me as a teenager. So she's learning and growing with me, which now as a mom, I can reflect and understand.
That's deep.
But
same boat.
Yeah, but back then I was like, oh, let me just stay out of her way. Yeah, it was really rough, but now I understand. She was going through a lot.
Yeah, I saw a meme or something that said, we don't realize as kids that we're watching our parents grow up at the same time they're watching us grow up.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, these memes get deep.
It's true.
And I never really thought about it like that. Like, yeah, so, when I was 15, she was 30. Like, my son is 18 now, and I'm 42, and I couldn't imagine.
No, it's rough.
Couldn't imagine.
Yes. I do that all the time. I'm like, I do the math.
And I was there, and I still can't imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
it feels like a different lifetime almost, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It does.
Definitely.
It was really rough, but.
How old is your son?
He's 6.
6.
Yes.
What's his name?
Lennox.
Mm-hmm. A boxer. True to form.
I am. My son's name is Lennox, my dog's name is Pac-Man, and my cat's name is Loma.
Oh, okay. All right. Are those your top 3?
No, I loved the name Lennox before I even connected it with boxing. That was just the final sign, like I have to name my son Lennox.
Yeah, that was the sign.
That was the sign. No, I had a dream before I even knew I was pregnant that I had a little boy. And in my dream, he was named something with an L. You know, when you wake up and you're like, I like that name, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, whatever. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh, okay, I guess that was a sign. And when I found out he was a boy, I got a book and went straight to the L sections, and Lennox is the one that jumped out at me. Then I was like, oh, Lennox Lewis. It's final. I'm not budging.
That's deep. I like it. And your husband was on board? He was like, whatever.
He had no choice.
Great answer.
No
Great answer. Yeah. My wife liked me think that I named all of our children, but yeah, we, like you said, had no choice. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Lennox the boxer.
But I don't think I could watch him box, though.
No?
Mm-mm. No.
Has he seen you?
He has.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's been around it since day one. I was teaching boxing classes with pregnant. And when he was born, I would take him in his little stroller, park his little stroller, and he'd just sit there and watch me. And to this day, ask anyone that takes my classes, Lennox is there watching.
So a boy named Lennox, born to a boxing mother who spends most of his time growing up in the gym.
In the gym.
You think the day's not going to come?
I hope not.
Where you're going to be outside those ropes, or maybe even in the corner.
I don't know. I mean, it could be, but one never knows. One never knows. I mean, he's been to all my fights, well, and all my sparring. Every time I spar, I mean, he's there. But he's getting at the age now where, I put him in Taekwondo. And now when I'm done teaching, he asks me, Mom, can we box?
Let's go over some combos, Mom.
Yeah, let me do mitt work with me. So now he's starting to want to hit the bag. So I'm like, okay, if he wants to, cool, I support it. But if he really, really wants to, I'm not going to push it on him, though.
I'm seeing a vision of like, before the main event, and the fighter gets to the ring and they do like his backstory, and they're like, Lennox's mom was a boxer in her own right. She raised him in the ring, and
pretty much. So he's gonna go one or two ways. He's gonna fall into it, or he's gonna be like, nah, I grew up around it, I've had enough.
And there goes the story of kids. Mm-hmm. Either they follow in your footsteps and want to be just like you, or they want to do the exact opposite of everything that you tried to instill in them.
Yep.
Those are one of the two options. Man, well, I wish you luck. You said he's 6?
Mm-hmm.
Man, well,
6.
I'm sure you've heard the phrase, cherish the moments, because before you know it, that 6-year-old is going to have a woman in your basement while you're working overnight, and it's just going to be on your Ring camera going off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't. Triggered. Triggered. Sorry.
Traumatized.
Let's not make this about me. Let's get back to...
Now I'm nervous.
So, yeah, you got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. And if I could say one thing that I've learned, beat him now.
There's still a fear now.
Because you're a boxer and he's going to be boxing. Don't wait till he's 16. Because you're like, what, 5'0"?
I'm 4'11". I didn't even make the 5 foot mark.
The thing is, when I said 5, I was trying to think of the lowest number. I was a 5. You're 5 -2. That's what you are. Okay.
I am.
All right, because I imagine that like by the time he's 8, you're probably going to be looking up to him, and he's going to be doing push-ups during commercial breaks. And if there's one word of advice I could give you, beat him now. I said it. Yeah, I said it. Beat his ass now, because you don't want to be 18 and then you can't talk because you trying to yell some sense into him because you decided, rather your wife decided the timeout would be the best. Where are we going with this? I needed to vent. Beat his ass now. Timeout shit don't work. It don't work. Follow me more for more parenting advice.
No, for his actual relationship, I was 16. And we were together for 12 years.
That's a long time.
Very long time.
That's an extremely long time.
Long time. The whole growing up. And, you know, you either grow together or you grow apart. And unfortunately, that's what happened. We wanted different things. It just didn't click anymore. And I became a single mom. And I was like, well, this is it. And then I met my husband when my son was 2. And he's been the father figure ever since. And, you know, I struggle with watching my mom play both roles. And me always doing everything for everyone, that I forget that I have that support, that I want to play both roles. And he has to sometimes tell me, like, hey, relax. Let me take care of this. Let me do the dad stuff. I want to be mom and dad because that's what I grew up seeing. So I can understand why sometimes you feel like, well, my mom did it, she can do it. That's how I see. If my mom did it, then I have to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But I realize how it's an unfair expectation.
It's a lot.
And at the same time, I don't want to feel like I married my mother. That's just kind of deep.
No. Yeah. I don't want to feel like I am my mom, but, you know.
Yeah, and let's see. My mother got married when I was 14, so I pretty much felt grown at that point. And, you know, she remained the disciplinary figure at that point. She didn't give the reins away. She smacked me with the reins. No.
That's all. Same. My mother didn't remarry until recently. Yeah. It's okay. They're strong women.
Aren't you all? If it wasn't for women, none of us would be here.
It takes 2. It takes 2 to make a baby.
Yeah. I don't know. Technology nowadays.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Well, we won't go there.
That's true. But it is hard. I mean, men obviously have their obstacles in the world. Everybody does, for different reasons. That's why I never judge anybody. But it's hard for women as well, you know, especially nowadays. With the income, it's not like back then. Mom can stay home, take care of the kids, dad works. It's both parents have to work now. And unfortunately, not everybody, but a lot of people still expect women to fulfill the house duties while picking up the slack for the financial duties. Are you looking for your wife?
I was wondering why you were looking at me like that when you were saying that. Man.
It's true, though, unfortunately.
It is true. It is
you know,
true.
And it gets tiring, and people wonder why women get overstimulated.
No, it is true. It is true. When my wife, she was a stay-at-home mom for like 10 years while she raised the kids, and I went to work.
That's a hard job.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a hard job.
Yeah.
Raising children, but in the moment, I can look back on it now and be like, wow, she worked her ass off. She potty trained 4 kids. She taught them all how to walk and talk. And like, I was watching this documentary, and it was about this kid who had mute parents, and because his parents didn't speak, there was nothing wrong with the kid, but because he didn't hear anybody speaking to him, the kid ended up with developed language problems, expressing himself later, and like he couldn't form the words right because he didn't hear it in whatever age you're supposed to be to, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So I was, that made me laugh because like I can just imagine me trying to, if the roles were reversed and she was the breadwinner and I was, you know, we couldn't afford daycare. Obviously, it was like $1,000 per child per month, and we had 4 of them. Like,
Yeah, no.
that's obviously not an option. So one of us got to stay home. So if the roles were reversed and I was the one who stayed home, like I could just imagine how I would fuck those kids' lives up. Excuse me for that. But I mean, no holds barred. Like I don't know how to potty train children. Like, I mean, her tactic was a little interesting. My kids were just naked 24 hours a day. It was
I tried that.
Stop! Run there!
I tried that and it didn't work.
No?
No, because he would hold it. So then I got scared, like, well, he's going to get some kind of infection. So as soon as I, put something on, then he would release. So what I did, you got to play to the personality. He's a very clean, like, he hates getting dirty. Dirt on his hands at the playground, Mom, clean. Yeah. I'm like, really? So what I did was I just put the underwear on him, let him pee himself, and he hated that. He was like, and he's been potty trained ever since. I was imagining you were going to be like, we go to the toilet and I put the diaper in front of his wee-wee, and then starts to pull it away real fast. And it's like that. But see, like that's the shit that I would have done trying to parent, like try to figure this stuff out. Like lure him.
Yeah, like a carrot on a string, but it's a diaper. And like, come on, bring your wee-wee this way. And like, so, and I can, and if I'm sitting in a house with 3 bodies, but they can't talk, it's like, my mind isn't going to tell me that I need to carry on a conversation with these kids. Like, I'm either going to be watching TV, I'm going to be doing something, and they're going to be sitting there quiet, and I'm going to be sitting there quiet, and then 10 years is going to go by, and we're like, how come our kids don't talk? Because, I didn't know that I was supposed, like, so there are definitely things that a mother, I don't know whether it's instinctually or if this was something she was taught in school, like, but I can, like, during that 10 years of having to go to work and then come home to like the same people that are here when I left, and the dishes are dirty or there's dirty clothes on the floor. I'm like, what have you been doing all day? I go to work, I come home, and you're just sitting here with these kids playing with pots and pans, like. And now I can look back on it like, damn, I was probably terrible because she was doing things that I would have no idea how to do, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. You learn as you go.
Slowly
but surely.
Trial and error. So what was it like for you being a single mother for 2 years?
Honestly, I mean, it's hard because you have no one to pick up it all falls on you.
Do you want to briefly maybe talk about the breakup? You were there together for 12 years and then you have a baby.
Yeah, so before that, I mean, we had kind of started drifting apart, and I actually have polycystic ovaries, so they told me I couldn't have kids.
Interesting.
80% chance. I was like, okay, and I thought it was true because for years, I mean, we didn't use anything. I never got pregnant, so I was like, okay. When I saw us drifting apart, I'm like, well, at least we don't have a kid, but I still kind of wanted to try. Then boom, pregnant. So then I sat down and was like, hey, this is bigger than us. I really want to try to make it work, try to be a family. If you want to, then we have to for reals give it a shot. And he agreed, and I felt like I was the only one trying. He just wasn't there, and I could tell that it's not what he wanted. And, you know, you hope and you hope and you wait and you wait, but then you start going crazy, you know? And I don't want to push something on someone that if they don't want it, they don't want it. And eventually I'm going to resent him, he's going to resent me, and I don't want that for my kid to grow up in that environment. So eventually it's not working. Eventually, you know, the visits became less and less and less, and he just fell off the face of earth. So not present, but, you know, it breaks my heart in a sense because I know what that's like, because I grew up with that. My father figure, I loved him to death, and he was a great person, the kindest person you'll ever meet. I literally have seen him take the clothes off his back to give to people that need it. Great man, but he had his issues. He was an alcoholic. He liked to use drugs. He would disappear weeks at a time, you know, and my mom tried to shield me from it, but you know what's going on. I hear her crying in the middle of the night when she'd think I was asleep, and that's hard, and I didn't want that for my son. And you know, my dad, eventually when they, you know, divorced, he would appear, you know, take us for a weekend, then he'd disappear. And so my dad wasn't really present. I never had that father figure in my life. But, you know, I don't see that for my son because I have my husband. My husband stepped in, and I'm thankful for that. And as far as his dad, I don't take anything from him. If one day he wants to reach out, I'm not going to stop him. My son will choose what kind of relationship he wants with his dad without me interfering.
Did you read a book on motherhood or something?
No. No. I just learned from life.
Well, if this was
from
a
being
game
that
show,
kid.
if this was a game show, you're killing it. Like, I'm a very transparent person. Like I give you the good, bad, and the ugly. Like, I don't know, maybe that's my brand. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I've never lived the Instagram life. Like, I'm only gonna post when I'm here or when I'm smiling. Like, not at all. Like, and some people in my family, they'll call me immediately after a post, like, take that down. You don't want people to think this or see that, and I get it. And especially when other people are involved and it's not just me, and it's like, your wife has coworkers and friends and your son has schoolmates and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I get that. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know, therapy to me, maybe, to vent or get out, because just as many people say, you shouldn't put that out there, there's a whole lot of people who will DM me or comment and be like, I'm going through the same thing, or I've been searching for answers for that myself, or I dealt with that also because I have raised my kids and now I'm a grandparent, and you know, so it's like, as a podcaster, journalist, influencer, whatever this thing is, telecommunication, like, as someone who speaks about their life, it's like, I like to divulge things, but I hate to make people who I love and who I care about feel like I'm throwing them under the bus or, you know, bad mouthing them, and that's never the case. Like, I wouldn't be who I am or where I am if it weren't for my upbringing, or, you know, the good and the bad. But I'm not really the shield that and hide that kind of person. I don't know. I like to share. Give me a typical day for you.
Typical day.
Yeah, it's taken literally like 3 months for you to be able to get in here.
I know.
So what, you know, you have a busy schedule. What is your
I do.
What is your routine? How do you balance let's
see. During the week, my typical day is I wake up 4:30 in the morning. I go to the gym, try to be at the gym by no later than 5 a.m. I work out for an hour and a half, because if I don't get it in first thing in the morning, it's not going to happen.
Discipline.
So
commercial breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks to my Ito.
Yeah.
That's my grandpa. But then I get home, take the dog out. I'll make breakfast, pack everyone's lunch. By everyone, I mean mine, my husband, and my son. And then I prep dinner. Then I will like clean. And then I try to get all the house stuff done before I go to work. Then I'll get ready for work, wake up my son, get him ready, drop him off to school. Then I'm at work by like 8:30. And I work until 3. I get out, pick up my son from school. Then I'll take him home. I'll take him to the park, some kind of activity outside, get him running around, give him his snack. Then I usually have to either go to the gym and teach classes, or I have personal training. I have clients I do PTs with. So I'll do that. Then we get home, give my son his dinner, give him his bath, help him with his homework, read his bedtime story, and off to bed.
And that time is usually?
He is usually knocked out by 9.
What about you?
Me by like 10:30.
10:30. Day starts at 4:30. Day ends at 10:30. All right, so you're still getting a good 6 hours of sleep in there.
Oh yeah, I try my best. I'm like, oh, it's 10:30.
Wow.
Go to sleep.
That's a schedule. And when the week ends.
And the week ends. So like Friday I get off work early, but I normally go like grocery shopping, take my son to Taekwondo, and we have a son and mom date night that sometimes my mom will join us with my little brother.
Love it.
So Friday night's our day. And then Saturday I wake up at the latest like 6, go running, come home, make the dinner, the breakfast, and then I'm usually at the gym by 9 because I have personal training clients. I teach boxing classes, and I'm usually at Tidal Gym from 9 to like 2 in the afternoon. And then from there, my son has me for the rest of the weekend. I'm all his.
Man, wow. Is there any time in there for anything else? Do you?
So I consider the gym is like it's mommy's time.
Okay, so that's your.
That's my
I'm trying to figure out where's
do.
mommy's self time.
Mommy's self time is in the gym.
Okay, all right.
Listen
So
to my music, focus on my workout.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Oh yeah. That's where I feel most myself, most at ease. I'm not thinking about bills. I'm not thinking about this needs to be done. I'm just focused at the task at hand, whether it be shadow boxing, hitting the bag, sparring, or weightlifting. Whatever I'm doing, I'm focused. I don't think about anything else. So that's mommy time. And I do like to go like into like the sauna sometimes, just kind of meditate before I head home. And sometimes when my son like knocks out, I'll either read or write. I like to write.
So for all the moms out there that are like, yeah, I just can't do that. That's just too much. I like, what was it? Was it your grandfather? Was it seeing your mother struggle? What is it just something genetic that you can't explain? Where does the motivation come from to be that disciplined? I mean, not too many people are going to choose to wake up at 4:30 every morning to go hurt themselves.
No.
I saw a meme that said, working out is your body building up a resistance to you hurting yourself.
Yeah, that sounds about
Exactly.
right. It sounds about right.
That's exactly what we do. We build up a resistance to hurting ourselves. So not too many people are going to hear an alarm clock go off at 4:30 in the morning and say, let me go hurt myself. This is my me time. And then from there, after you spent all that energy in the gym at 4:30, most people are like, all right, good. Now I get to go home and rest. Not you. You're like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to cook breakfast. I'm going to get my son up. I'm going to get ready for work. I'm going to meal prep. I'm going to do like 5-hour energy, just something in the blood. What is it that someone else who wishes they had all that, where can they go to find that? Where'd you get it from?
Inside. I get it from inside. It's that want that I've had since a kid. You know, I grew up rough. I've seen a lot of things that kids shouldn't see, deal with, and it's made me who I am. Yeah, tough, but determined. Determined to be better, determined to provide more. I don't want my son going through what I went through.
Just fueled off of pure desire.
Desire, that's it. To become like, I know I can be more than what people expected of me. You know, I'm a Mexican girl. I didn't learn English until like elementary school. You know, they didn't have high hopes for me, and that is what fuels me. Like,
Prove those haters wrong.
Yeah, I remember I went home crying one day to my grandfather because they were making fun of me because I didn't speak English. So kids asked me to play, and I don't know what they're saying, so I just stare at them like, and they'd be like, "Oh, she's an idiot," right?
Meanwhile, those kids who are making fun of you are not bilingual.
No.
So.
Yeah. So then
You're literally
went
making fun of you for their ignorance.
Exactly. And I went home crying to my grandfather, and he asked me why I was crying, and I told him, and he's like, "Don't worry, you know, don't focus on what other people say about you. You know who you are." He's like, "If you want to learn English, I'll teach you English." He was a teacher. And so I said, "Okay, I want to learn English. I want to learn how to speak it better than them." And he started putting Post-its on everything. Yep. And that's how I learned. So I've always had that, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong, or I want better.
How long did you train before you decided to like go pro?
Pro?
Have your first amateur?
Let's see. So I started when I was 19. Then, you know, I did amateur, and I was in and out. I had obviously when I was pregnant, I couldn't. Then when my son turned 1, I turned pro. So it took about 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 9 years where I decided to take that step. And the thing is, like, my stepdad, who's my coach, he's always saying, "You are the hardest person to convince," because he had been telling me that years before. Like, "Come on, let's go pro. We can do this. We can do that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll think about it." That's always my answer. I'll think about it. And eventually, yeah, when my son turned 1, I was like, let's do it.
And you were more just the competition, or to see if you can do it. You wanted a belt. You wanted the money. Like, what ultimately, you just wanted to get in there and kick somebody's ass? Like, what?
I was a single mom. I had a lot of pent up aggression. I'm joking.
I get it.
No.
Beat your kids.
No, the thing was definitely not the money, because we don't make anything really, unless you finally get to that Canelo, Floyd Mayweather level. Yeah. We don't make much. But and it's not the belt. It's the love for the sport. I love the sport.
Is there, I don't know, just what is the, like, I've fought before, but out of like rage, like somebody got me to that point where I couldn't express myself verbally anymore. I take it out physically, prove my point, which doesn't make any sense at all. Logic doesn't go to the stronger person. Like, but so for someone to just want to
voluntarily step in there.
Is it strictly boxing? Have you ever tried MMA, or do you?
No, I mean, I did like classes on kickboxing, but compete wise, yeah, just boxing.
You just like to stand up and go toe to toe.
Yep, just like the classics. I'm an old spirit, so I enjoy it. And it's, like I said, it's not the money. It's not, obviously not fame, because I don't like being in front of cameras.
No.
But again, it's just that drive and desire to challenge myself. Like, I know I can do it. Like, let's see how far I can go with this. Let's see how far I can do it. And I just love it. I love being in there. That's another thing I do for me. Yeah. And I think everyone should have something like that where you do for you. Nothing else. Not because you're getting money, not because you're getting noticed. It's just you do it because you want to.
Still a heavily male-dominated sport, just like you playing t-ball.
Yep. Yep.
So you've been training for this your whole life,
pretty much, without knowing.
Would you ever fight a man?
Well, I've sparred plenty.
Oh man.
Yeah, there was always only one other girl in the gym, which was Tori Nelson. I'm sure you've heard of her. She's a 6-time world champion, obviously bigger than me. So that was the only other woman I had to spar.
Really?
Yeah. Which doesn't count because she punches just as hard as man does.
But that's interesting that you said, though, because the woman that you're fighting, she's probably better than most men. So for me to ask you what you get in the ring with a man, it's like, I'll whoop a dude's ass. Oh man, wow, that's great. What's been like the most? I mean, you say it's fun, but what's been the most challenging thing?
Boxing. I mean, besides like when you have to make weight, that's always not fun. But I would say the part that I least enjoy is the whole production of it, the business side of it. I don't like it at all. A lot of politics, and it's so unorganized.
Really?
Oh yes. You show up for weigh-ins and it's like everyone's just standing around in a room like this, and then they're like, have you had your exam yet? Have you? Okay, you go there. Oh, you already did. Oh, you have to go back to get this form from this person and go see this doctor. No one told me beforehand. Oh, well, we're telling you now. And you have like literally the day before the fight. They don't have everything in order. And I'm kind of OCD, so that drives me nuts.
Are all leagues like once you go pro, is that like being in the league, or is like the World Boxing Federation? Is that what everyone is a part of, or are there just mom and pop shops like, yeah, we're a boxing league?
No, you have to get certified.
Okay.
So you have to go through USA Boxing.
Got you.
You have to get your license. Certain gyms too, like you can't just spar at any gym. They have to be USA Boxing.
Really?
Yeah, authorized. They have to get a certificate, get signed off. The actual trainers that train fighters have to attend every year. These meetings where they all join and they teach them proper what yes and no's and rules and this rule change or this rule change. It's a lot that goes behind it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you have to like pay dues?
Well, yeah, you have to pay to get your license. You have to pay for, that's what I'm saying, we don't make money. You have to pay for your exams. Obviously you're fighting. You have to have the doctor check you. You have to have blood work to make sure you're not going to transmit anything because we're bleeding and sweating all over each other. You have to get your eyes checked. Yeah.
That sucks. Think about how many people like miss opportunities because they can't
afford it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I looked into getting my daughter into gymnastics. I looked into putting myself into gymnastics. I thought that was fun. That might be more my speed.
Gymnastics.
Yeah,
there you go.
Let me try and
tuck and roll.
Something like that. But actually, I wanted to do the uneven bars and the rings.
Oh yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, I wanted to try those. Looked like a challenge. But I went into the gym and they were like, "Yeah, it's going to be $800 a month for you and your daughter to come 2 nights a week during open gym."
What?
To swing on some bars? Are you fucking
Let's go to the park.
Are you serious? All right, so I guess we're not going to do gymnastics. And then trying to get my kids into drums and instruments.
Oh yeah.
Football, AAU, basketball, everything's
expensive.
Crazy expensive.
It's expensive.
Which kind of limits,
Mm-hmm.
I was watching what was it? I think it was the draft. I think it was the WNBA draft I was watching. And it's so interesting to me when they interview these players that just got drafted. Mm-hmm. All the black players had the same answer and all the white players had the same answer, but they were different. All the black players would say, "We grew up poor and they're crying, and I'm glad I made it here so that now I can change my family's life and put us on a different trajectory. And another black girl comes up and, oh, I did this, and my mom, she raised us, and we were poor, and 12 people in one bed, and everybody's crying, and then another black girl gets up and, oh, we were poor, and now, and it's like, then the white person gets up. And she's like, well, I had all the best coaches, and my father was actually the coach of Kobe Bryant's nephew, and his trainer, they've been training me since I was 6 years old. So, and it's like, then another white person gets up and they're like, yeah, I went to such and such camp, and I've been doing this. And it's like, you got y'all that can afford this, that have been getting training. Mm-hmm. And after all that, you can only just compete with the people that are doing this out of pure desperation, that I'm going to feed my family. Like, the different motivation, desire between the two is amazing to me. And so putting that in the context of you, like you when you get up in the ring and you're fighting somebody who's, had elite trainers, or their father was Rocky Balboa's cousin, and something like that. And I know, fake person, but it's like I don't know, your desire, like that element that you said that you have, your heart, that's like something that, like, you can't teach heart. You know what I'm saying? You can teach skill, you can learn, you can increase talent, but you can't teach heart. Like, you just
And as you know, when your jab is gone, like, that's all you got left is heart.
And your knees.
And your knees.
You just hope the person will stop hitting you. Throw in the towel. Man.
But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Like how you said, all the, black people had the same answer, all the white people had the same answer, but they ended up in the same spot. Doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter your background. If you want it, you can get there.
Amen, sister.
That's the beauty of it, The only person that can stop you is you. That's it. If you let a pebble in your shoe get in the way, well, then that's on you. It's not the pebble's fault.
I want to wrap it right there. That was a great wrap point. I don't even want to follow that up with any more conversational banter. Like, that was. Thank you so much, Joelle, for being on the show today. Thank you for sharing your story. I wish you much success, life, and love, in marriage, in mommyhood. Beat your kids now. And thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for making this fun.